The Grand Ole Opry is celebrating its 100th anniversary, but did you know where some believe the Opry got its roots? Our Brian Koleski has the story.
The Grand Ole Opry has been the pinnacle of country music for as long as we've known it. But did you know the inspiration for the Opry came from right here in Region 8? We share a forgotten story about how Mammoth Spring was vital to the creation of country music's biggest stage.
Mammoth Spring.
Mammoth Spring.
Mammoth Spring is the reason, it was the inspiration for the Grand Ole Opry.
A small Arkansas town known for one of the largest springs in the state also has a rich history in country music. In 1919, a reporter for the Commercial Appeal in Memphis by the name of George D. Hay was working on stories in northeast Arkansas area when he found his way to the small community of Mammoth Spring.
He got off the train at the depot and meandered over into the town, and he met these people, and they invited him to a hoedown at their cabin that night. And so he went to it, and that was the first time he had ever heard that kind of music.
At one point he called the people that he ran into mountaineers, like Ozark mountaineers. I love that he experienced all-night music there, because when I was growing up, that's just how life was.
That all-night event would plant the seed for Hay to bring his vision to life.
He went to Mammoth Spring, and he describes it as one of the most typical small towns in America. And so I think with the Opry, what he was really trying to do is be a small town, like what he experienced in Mammoth Spring at this hoedown in the cabin that he experienced. He wanted to bring that to everyone.
Hay's vision started out as a live radio program at WSM in Nashville in 1925. It wasn't until later it transitioned to other formats, and it all goes back to that experience in Mammoth Spring.
His experience there is just so key to understanding what an actual barn dance is. But for him to experience a real authentic version of that, and then kind of the light bulb going off, oh, we can do this on this new incredible technology that is radio. We can bring this to everyone in America.
Living the Opry lifestyle that we live, I can look at the information and go, oh, of course this is how that came about. And I really enjoyed reading about the Grand Opera radio show, and him calling it, for the next 3 hours we're going to have the Grand Ole Opry, and that really took off.
For the last 100 years, the Grand Ole Opry has become a staple in country music. In the 1980s, former mayor of Mammoth Spring, Gene Pace, said that when they heard this story, they started a festival that lasted decades called Solemn Old Judge Days to pay homage to Hay.
It was an economic boom to Mammoth Spring for several years. A Labor Day weekend brings a lot of people up here anyway, but that brought more. So especially when we were able to hire some stars from the Grand Ole Opry to come. And the first year when we had the manager of the Grand Ole Opry here to present that plaque to the citizens of Mammoth Spring.
The Solemn Old Judge Days Festival would be celebrated for decades until it stopped. Now this story about Mammoth Spring and the Grand Ole Opry is not as well known.
As far as I know, there hasn't been a large recognition of that. I think it's a forgotten story. I mean, even we're 100 years old, even George D. Hay himself doesn't get mentioned as much as maybe he should be.
I'm a big Star Wars fan too, and now when you watch the newer films that are actually prequels and you find out the backstory of something and your mind is blown, that's kind of how that feels.
All parties I spoke to said it would be awesome to see more recognition of this story and a partnership between Mammoth Spring and the Opry.
I would love to see our town get involved with that program again and start Solemn Old Judge Days up again and celebrate the history of our town. It's a major part of the history of our town.
The Opry is so good about history and instilling that and the importance of it and the reverence of the things that make us. Country music is the best at holding on to what makes us and who makes us who we are. I would absolutely love to see if Solemn Old Judge Days come back. If that were a thing, I would love to see Opry members going and playing. I mean, I would do it.
The Opry's background, proof that small communities can be the spark for something huge.
We have another part of our history to be really, really proud of. The Grand Ole Opry is the longest running live radio show on the planet. and its birthplace is our little bitty Mammoth Spring.
I think of him almost like a Walt Disney figure, where he added to like an already existing culture a little bit of magic. And so just the fact that he discovered that magic in Mammoth Spring, it's incredibly interesting. And I hope people who live there know about it and have pride in that.
The backdrop of the Grand Ole Opry stage is the barn you see here. It's one of those things that tell you, even 100 years later, as big as the Opry is, that it started small and then worked its way up. In studio, Brian Koleski, K8 News.
Brian, thank you. The Grand Ole Opry will celebrate its 100th anniversary throughout the year, and its 100th anniversary show is November 28th, the exact day that the Opry was created in 1925.